He is not going to look at you and say, I want to kiss you. That is not something men actually say. Not like that. Not out loud. Not before it happens. Nobody sits across from the person they are losing their mind over and just says the thing clearly like that. It does not work that way, and it has never worked that way. And if you have been waiting for those words, if you have been sitting with this feeling and telling yourself you will believe it is real when he finally says something, you could be waiting for a very long time. Not because nothing is there, but because the words are always the last thing that happens. Everything else comes first. And the everything else has been happening right in front of you this whole time. Because here is what nobody tells you. When a man wants to kiss you, when he is sitting across from you or standing next to you, and that thought is running underneath everything, he does not say it. He does not announce it. He does not lean over and go, hey, I really want to kiss you right now. That sentence does not exist in real life. What actually happens is smaller than that, quieter. So quiet that you can be standing right there in the room while it is happening and walk away that night thinking nothing happened at all. But something happened. Something has been happening every single time you two are in the same space together, and you have been feeling it. You have been picking up on something and then immediately talking yourself out of it. You told yourself you were seeing what you wanted to see. You told yourself, maybe he is just like this with everyone. Maybe he is warm with everybody. Maybe you are the one with feelings here. And he is just being normal and friendly, and you have been reading something into perfectly ordinary moments because you want there to be something there. But then you see him again, and that feeling comes back. And it does not feel like something you made up. It feels like something in the room, something between you, something that is not coming from just one side. You were right about that. You were right the whole time. You just did not have the language for what you were actually looking at. And that is exactly what today is going to give you. Because there are 4 specific things a man's body does when he is sitting on the urge to kiss you. 4 things he is not choosing to do. 4 things he has no idea he is doing. And once you know what they are, you are never going to sit in your car after seeing him replaying the whole night, asking yourself what any of it meant. You are going to know right there, in the moment, without him having to say a single word. But before we get into them, I want to spend a minute on something that most people skip right past, and it is the most important thing to understand before any of the signs make real sense. Because once you get this, everything else clicks. Here is why he does not just say it. A kiss is not a compliment. It is not something you can take back or soften or walk back if it lands wrong. When you move towards someone like that, you are putting something completely on the table. And you are saying, this is what I want. And I am showing you right now, and there is no pretending otherwise after. If you read the situation wrong, if you go for it and it was not what they wanted, everything between you changes. Right then, right there. And there is no path back to how easy things were before. So the part of him that is paying attention to all of this, the part that is reading the room and watching how you respond to him and trying to figure out whether what he is feeling is going anywhere, that part is not just going to let him act on it out of nowhere, not without some kind of signal first, not without some way of testing whether this is real or whether he is completely alone in it. And the way he does that testing, all of it, is through his body, through tiny things he is not consciously choosing to do. Things that happen because something in him has already decided, and the is just honest about it, even when the mouth stays quiet. That is what you are going to learn to see today. The language the body uses when the words have not come yet. And the reason this language matters more than words is because words can be managed. Words can be chosen carefully. Words can be held back completely. But the body does not ask for permission before it tells the truth. So, here are the 4 things. Let's go through them slowly. The first one is that his eyes go to your mouth. And I know you have seen this happen. I know you saw it and then immediately filed it away as nothing, because what were you going to do? Tell yourself a man was looking at your lips? That sounds like the kind of thing you convince yourself of when you want something to be true. So you let it go. You told yourself it was probably nothing and you moved on. But here is the thing. Eyes do not drift to someone's mouth randomly. That is not a thing that just happens. When a person wants to kiss you, and that thought is sitting underneath the surface of everything, their eyes go to your mouth the same way your eyes go to anything your brain is already focused on. It is not a decision he made. It is just where the eyes go when the brain is already there. And it does not happen once. It keeps happening. Once might be nothing. Twice starts to mean something. 3 times in one conversation, and that is not an accident. That is his brain circling back to the same thought over and over, and his eyes following it there without him knowing. And now here is the specific thing inside this sign that most people walk completely past. Watch his face in the half second right after his eyes come back up. Because part of him catches himself. Part of him registers that his eyes went somewhere they were not supposed to. And for just a moment, less than a second, something small shifts in his face. He will either look away too fast, faster than the conversation called for, like he got spooked, or he will hold your eyes a beat too long right after, like he is trying to cover for having looked away at all. Either way, there is something there. And that thing right after is actually more honest than the looking itself. Because you can fake a lot of things when you are talking to someone. You cannot fake the tiny shift on your face when you just caught yourself in the middle of a thought you did not mean to show. The second sign is that being near you makes him careful. And I have to be precise here because this is the one that gets explained away the most. This is not about him being dramatically close to you or leaning in some obvious way. This is much quieter. This is about the fact that when you are physically near him, when you are sitting next to him or standing close, he is slightly not himself. A little more still than normal. A little more aware of how he is sitting, where his hands are, how much space there is between you. Not in a big noticeable way, just in this barely there way that would be impossible to explain if someone asked you to. Here is what is happening underneath that. When a man is fighting the urge to close the distance between you, he is holding 2 things at the same time. He wants to be as close to you as he can get away with, and he is also managing the wanting. Both of those things are happening in his body at the same time. And that combination, wanting something and trying not to show you that you want it, creates this tension that you can feel even when nothing is happening, even when nobody is talking, even when you are just sitting there. There is a stillness that does not feel relaxed, a nearness that has weight to it. You have felt this and called it chemistry. You have said to your friends, there is just something there, and not been able to explain what you meant. This is what you were describing. That is the physical feeling of 2 people's bodies being pulled toward each other and neither of them doing anything about it yet. And the reason it does not feel like regular proximity is because for both of you, it is not regular proximity. It is loaded with something that has not been said. Now, here is how you know it is not just you. Watch how loose or how careful he is in his own body when you are close. A man who feels nothing around you is easy. He sits, however, he moves naturally, he does not think about any of it. But a man who is managing something while he is near you will be just slightly more put together than the moment calls for. Slightly more upright, slightly more deliberate about small things. Like there is something under the surface that he is keeping the lid on. And there is fire. And the only reason a person has to contain something like that is because the something is real. The third sign is that he finds reasons to stay. This one is so simple that people explain it away without even thinking about it. But pay attention, because this is one of the clearest things on this list. The two of you are together. The moment comes where it could naturally end, where one of you could say, "Okay, I should go." And that would be completely normal, and neither of you would think twice about it. And he does not let it end. He finds something, a new question, something he just remembered, something funny, a thing he heard that reminded him of something you said. He pulls on a thread. He keeps it alive. And you probably told yourself he just likes talking, or you both just got caught up in a good conversation. And sometimes that is true. But there is a difference between someone enjoying a conversation and someone who is not ready for the distance to come back between you. When it is the second thing, what he reaches for to keep things going is not random. It is not filler. It is specific. It is personal. It is something that shows he has been listening to you, actually listening, holding on to things you said earlier, things that only matter if he has been paying real attention to you this whole time. That is the tell inside this sign. Not how long things go. It is what he reaches for when he reaches. Generic filler means he is just being friendly. But when what he reaches for is specific to you, when it shows he was actually tracking everything you said and holding on to pieces of it, that is not someone who just likes good conversation. That is someone who does not want to be away from you and is using every available reason to make staying a little longer feel okay. The fourth sign is the one that is the most honest thing on this entire list. And I say that because by the time it shows up, there is nothing left to manage. No conversation to direct, no topic to land on, no distraction available. Just the two of you and the moment ending. And in that moment, the body has nowhere to hide. If his goodbye takes too long, I do not mean he talks forever. I mean something specific. Watch him when it is actually time to leave. When there is no reason left to stay and one of you is genuinely going. Does he go fully, or does he hang there? In the doorway, on the street, at the end of the call. Not quite leaving, but not quite staying. Finding one more small thing to say, even though you both know it is over. Standing just slightly closer than a regular see you later needs. Body facing yours, even while his mouth is doing the polite wrap-up thing. That in-between space where he is technically leaving, but cannot fully commit to it, is one of the most unguarded places a person can be. When in is going, you have things to focus on. But a goodbye strips all of that away. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to say. The only thing left is to actually go. And a man who cannot quite do that, who keeps finding reasons to stay in that last moment, who makes a goodbye stretch way past what it needed to be, is standing right on the edge of something and he knows it. There is a version of that moment that goes differently. He is aware of it, and some part of you has always been aware of it too. That goodbye that never quite ends is him telling you in the clearest possible way that he is not ready for the distance to come back. Now here is where I have to be honest with you about what most people do after learning all of this. Because this is the part that keeps so many women stuck, and I do not want that to happen to you. They see the signs, they recognize them, They feel that thing in their chest that says, yes, this is real. I was right. Something is here. And then they wait. They think, okay, now I know what he is feeling, so I will just wait for him to do something about it, and eventually he will. And the waiting feels smart. It feels patient. It feels like the right move. But here is what is happening while they wait. He is watching them the exact same way they are watching him. He is trying to figure out if what he is feeling is going somewhere, or if he is the only one in it. And when she pulls back a little, when she gets a little cooler and more careful now that she knows what she knows, when she becomes slightly less warm because she does not want to seem too obvious, what he reads in that is not patience. What he reads in that is distance. And distance reads as not interested. So he backs off too, quietly. No drama, no explanation, and the whole thing fades out slowly without either of them ever saying what it actually was. And they both move on carrying this quiet, unfinished thing that was so close to becoming real and never got the chance. Not because the feelings were not there. They were there on both sides the whole time. But because she waited for him to say the words when his body had already been speaking a completely different language every single time they were together. His body already told you. It told you every time his eyes went to your mouth and caught themselves. Every time that stillness came into his body when you were close and the space between you felt like it had weight. Every time he found one more reason to keep things going when the moment could have ended. Every time the goodbye stretched on and he stood there in that in-between place that neither of you knew what to do with. You were not imagining any of it. You just did not have the words for what you were seeing. Now you do. So the next time you are with him and that pull is in the air, stop replaying. Stop asking yourself if it is real. Look at what his body is actually doing. Look at where his eyes go and what his face does right after. Feel the quality of the space when you are close. Notice what he reaches for when the moment could end. Watch what happens in the goodbye. And if what you see matches what you learned today, trust it. Do not wait for something louder. Do not wait for the words. The words are the last thing that happens. Everything else comes first. And the everything else has already been happening for a while. His body said it. It said it before he even knew how to. If this finally gave you the words for something you have been feeling, hit the like button right now. Drop the word felt in the comments if you recognize these signs in someone and everything just clicked. And if you want more of this, the real honest breakdown of how men show up when they are feeling something and how to read all of it without going crazy trying to figure it out, subscribe and turn on notifications because new videos go up every single week. Stop waiting for him to find the words. His body already found them for him a long time ago. But I want to stay with you for a minute longer before we finish. Because some of you watching this are not just curious. Some of you have been sitting in this situation for a while. You have been seeing these things. You have been feeling this pull between you two, and nothing has moved forward, and you are starting to hit the wall of how much longer you are supposed to just wait here and keep showing up and keep being warm and available while he works up the nerve to do something about what he is clearly already feeling. And if that is you, hear this. Knowing what he feels does not mean you owe him unlimited patience. You do not have to just absorb these signals indefinitely and stay available forever. Knowing what is there gives you information, real information. And information means you get to make real choices, actual choices, not guesses in the dark. You know what is here. So now you get to ask yourself honestly, not what is he feeling? You already know that. But what do you want to happen? And what are you willing to do or stop doing to let that happen or to stop waiting for? That is a completely different question, and it is the right question because the body language already answered the first one. He is in this. He has been in this. The only thing still open is what the two of you are going to do about it, and you are allowed to have a say in that. I also want to say something about how most of us learn to think about this stuff, because I think it is a big part of why so many women end up stuck in exactly this kind of situation. We were taught that feelings are made real by words, that until someone says the thing out loud, it does not count. It is not official. It is not safe to believe it. So we wait for the words and we discount everything that is not words. We sit on this feeling that keeps saying something is here, and we talk ourselves out of it over and over because where is the proof? Where is the clear statement? Where are the words? And while we waited for the words, we missed all of it. We missed the eyes. We missed the stillness. We missed every stretched goodbye. We missed every moment he found one more reason to stay. We walked away telling ourselves nothing happened, when something happened every single time. Today is about stopping. Not just about reading the signs, about giving yourself permission to trust what your body already picked up on, because your body was right. It has been right this whole time. The only thing missing was someone giving you the language to believe it. You have that now. And one last thing. I know some of you heard all of this and felt something complicated alongside the relief. Because yes, it is good to finally understand what you were seeing. But for some of you, that understanding comes with the frustration of how long you have both been here in this without it going anywhere. And I want to acknowledge that. Knowing what he feels does not automatically make things simple. It does not solve the part where he has been feeling this clearly and has not done anything about it. And you are allowed to feel frustrated about that. You are allowed to decide that clear feelings without action have a shelf life for. You are allowed to set a limit on how long you stay available to someone who is showing you everything with his body and nothing with his choices. The signs told you the truth about what is there. What happens next is still up to both of you. But now you are asking that question from the right place with the right information, not in the dark. Not second guessing what you saw, not wondering if you made the whole thing up. You did not make any of it up, and you never needed to. And you know what I think is actually the hardest part of all of this? It is not learning to see the signs. Once you know what to look for, you see them. That part is actually easy. The hard part is what comes right after. That moment when you see it clearly and you realize it has been there for a while, and all those times you talked yourself out of it, you were actually right. That is a strange feeling. It is relief and it is frustration at the same time. Relief because you were not crazy. Frustration because you spent so long convincing yourself you were. But here is what I want you to do with that. I want you to let it land and then let it go. Not because it does not matter, because what matters more right now is what you do with it from here. You have been carrying this question around for weeks, maybe longer. Was it real? Was I imagining it? Did it mean something? And that question is answered now. It was real. You were not imagining it. It meant exactly what it felt like it meant. So put that question down. You do not need to carry it any. What you pick up instead is simpler and more useful. You know what is there. You know he feels it. You know his body has been showing you that clearly in 4 very specific ways every time you have been in the same room. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with that information? Are you going to keep waiting for him to find the words for it? Are you going to give him a clearer signal that what he is feeling is landing somewhere? Are you going to say something yourself? Are you going to decide you are done waiting and see what happens when you stop being quite so available? Those are real options, real choices. Choices you get to make now that you are not spending all your energy wondering if any of it is even real. It is real. That part is done. The rest is just up to you now. And that is actually a good place to be. So go back through everything one more time. The eyes going to your mouth and catching themselves. The stillness in his body when you are close. That weight in the space between you. Every moment he pulled on one more thread to keep things going when they could have ended. Every goodbye that went longer than it needed to and left you both standing there in that space neither of you knew what to do with. Those were not accidents, not coincidences, not him just being friendly. That was someone showing you something real in the only way he knew how to at the time. You saw it, you felt it, you were right.